Basically a reflection of the mind. It's the ego. And everything that's bad that happens in the world happens because people believe they are this person. Because their status and their ego, and they want betterment all the time. Better position, better status. Well, the truth of the matter is, there's not a human being on this planet that's any better or any less than me. And I'm no better or any less than any other human being. We're all as different as the leaves on the tree.
Every single shot that you ain't take.
When I try to be cool, you was cool on me. Yeah. Am I stuck in my ways? I told you I seen everything except for old days. Told the hope it's a cold game. I can still put a bitch on the play like the old days. But when I lay it.
It's embedded in this bad man culture. Who's the baddest man? Who's the cruelest man? You know, who's the vilest? Man shoot a man in him head with one shot. It's embedded in this bad man culture. Who's the baddest man? Who's the cruelest man? You know, who's the vilest? Man shoot a man in the head with one shot. Man shoot a man in the head with one shot.
What we see and what we seem are but a dream within a dream.
Want to know
Everything begins and ends at exactly the right time.
within myself. You can't get out of a thermostat without a little biome. You can't do it. It can't be done. There. Anyway, brand new one. Floor Noise and myself. No name yet. Coming soon. Bump the needle. Bump the needle. It happens. It happens. Bump the needle. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll let the echo on. All right. This is my last one. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. So yeah, this is a little test run that we got going on. This is the first legit official interview segment for BASSment JAMS. So that long pause was just me listening to it over. But yeah, we're joined here in the basement with Therma. Super gassed. Really pumped to have you here, man. So before we get super started into all these questions, here, scoot in a little bit.
Scoot in a little bit.
Yeah, scoot in a little bit here.
Down just a notch.
Yeah, sure.
Just a notch.
Yeah, sure, yeah. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah. There we go.
How you been for the last hour?
Man, over an hour. That was, what was that, like an hour and a half? You started at
7:30, yeah, about an hour and 10-ish, maybe, I don't know.
Was that what it was?
I'm sweating
I was 7, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, hour and 10.
Yep.
I thought for some reason it was longer than that. I don't know. I was vibing.
Sweet.
I was having a really good time. But before we get too deep into it, BASSment JAMS' mission is to bring on artists to showcase their vision and the music that they want to play. The music that they have been working on or the music that they're in love with without feeling the pressures of a crowd and trying to please others. They're just down here like we have done many times, jamming in the basement.
Yeah.
The countless amount of times I've been in, I don't even know how many basements around Minneapolis, digging through crates of records with groups of friends.
Yeah.
Just
so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been
like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we just all had, like, bring a plastic crate with all of your records and we just sit around for hours. 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
So many times.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Before children.
Before children. Yeah, for real. Now we're doing more basement segments, but just earlier.
Yes. Mondays at 7.
Mondays at 7. But yeah, I want to fill you guys in on a little bit of the background here. When I had first met Nick here, Therma, it was about 10 years ago when BASSment JAMS was on its like maybe second iteration. We had started on Ustream, eventually made our way to Twitch, and then ended up with the Redline Reload crew. And I was wanting to bring BASSment JAMS into other spaces and have people on the streams doing something similar to this. But now it's a little bit more refined, have a little bit more of a home vibe feel. And I get to this place, Slam Academy. We are taking a tour. We're kind of making our sales pitch as to what we want to be doing with BASSment JAMS and Redline Reload at the time. And we get brought down to one of the studios that we were kind of being suggested to use to stream BASSment JAMS. And there was a segment going on in there. Somebody had rented out that studio space for the time and to make music and use the space. So we were like, can we go in there? They're like, yeah, you might not get to go in there at the moment. And I was like, I don't know. Whatever's on the other side of that door sounds insane. I really want to know what's going on. So we got to peek our head in, and there was Nick working on a tune. And first time I've ever heard him play or make anything ever. And I was just like, kind of in awe. Like, I'm sitting here staring at the floor, like kind of like I'm living in the room right now, like teleported there, and it was so sick. So it was was really cool. Got to have him play that track out while he was working on it. Got to listen to it and was just instantly like, this dude is an absolute G. And since then, it's been fun. It's
definitely
been super cool getting to know you. So can you give us a little bit of a background on the history of Now Therma?
The history of Now Therma.
I know it's probably
It's been a long road.
Yeah.
It's been a long road. Things feel good right now, but I fell in love with music at a really young age through snowboarding, skateboarding, rollerblading, and the videos that went along with that. And I had a really close friend who was my neighbor who was super into hip hop. We would just skate, share music with each other, and we had no idea really what we were listening to at the time. Sometimes it was like Wu-Tang or Beat Nuts or The Far Side. It was all these different random things, and we didn't really know how important they were to hip hop until we were older.
Right.
But I was always connected to music pretty deeply, even from a young age. I just didn't know what to do with it. So I don't know. I just collected tons of music, tons of CDs, started getting my first records when I was in high school. And then I don't think I started producing in 08. So I think I was 21. And I started on an MPC, just making really simple hip hop beats like you're listening to right now.
Are these all beats that you've made?
Yeah, these are all my beats for the next like hip hop beat tape. Contours 2, I think it's going to be called. But these are just kind of like rough goes at all of those tunes.
Sneak preview.
Yeesh.
Yeah. These are vibing.
Yeah.
So would you before we also love sidebars. So Nick and I are fans of sidebars. A lot of conversations go off onto tangents. Do you remember what the first CD you bought was?
Yes, but I don't want to say it.
You don't want to say it?
Yeah, all right. So I went to Half Price Books with my neighbor, and this kid was like
a gem of a place here in Minnesota.
Yeah. Yes, Half Price Books is awesome. So I went there for the first time, and he's like, we're going to go get some CDs. Smashing Pumpkins just released Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, and he was like, we got to go get these CDs. So we go to Half Price Books first, and he wants to get the CD, but I could tell he didn't want me to get the CD too. So he sold me, he was persuasive, on a Kansas box set. Like Carry On My Wayward Son, Kansas.
Yeah.
And I bought it. And I got home and I had a little like CD deck and I'm playing this thing and I was like, I can't stand it. Like, I don't like rock all that much. Like, I like a little bit of rock, but I was like, he got me. He got the dual CD and all that. And went to school and he's laughing. And I blew all of my allowance money on a Kansas broke ass box set.
That's pretty funny.
And then
that's good history though.
Yeah. My first tape though was Coolio Gangsta's Paradise.
Sick.
Which I had before the Kansas incident, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that was like the theme song for Dangerous Minds. Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah,
and I saw the preview for it and they had that playing and I was like, what is that? And I was in guitar lessons at the time.
Yeah.
My guitar teacher was always like, what kind of music are you into? And I was like, Coolio.
Yeah.
And he was like, Julio Iglesias? And I was like, no, like Coolio. And he's like, I don't know who that is. Let's play Mary Had a Little Lamb on the electric guitar. I was like, all right, I don't know. It's rock. I don't know. So hip hop pretty much stole me away, just heavy drum, beat driven music. And then that led into more electronic music, but that came quite a bit later.
Yeah.
Yep.
You were saying you started your production process around 2008. Is that when that transfer was from more like heavy driven hip hop beats into the electronic world? Do you think is around then?
Yeah, it was about 2009. So I started at IPR, and that's where I met JP from Slam.
Okay.
And he kind of took me aside and was like, what are you trying to do with music? And I was like, I'm not exactly sure right now. I like making beats on my MPC, sampling, but I want to take it farther.
Yeah.
And I just knew that recording bands in a studio wasn't going to be it. So I felt somewhat lost at IPR. But then JP's synth and sound design course, and he introduced me to Ableton and how to implement sampling into the digital world.
Cool.
So that was really cool. And then later at IPR, a friend of mine at the time, she was like, dude, have you ever been to Concrete Jungle? And I was like, no. I had just been listening to dubstep for maybe like a couple months.
Yeah.
And it was all those old heavy hitters, like, what was it? That's what you call dubstep. Like,
yeah,
they had the compilation CDs.
Yeah, it was like UKF.
Yeah.
It is kind of, I think it was like, that's what you call dubstep. It was like UKF, that's what you call dubstep. And then forget what the other ones were. There was a handful of those. I think Get Darker would put out compilations and different groups like that. But
so yeah, I was listening to whatever Pandora had to offer.
Yeah.
I was snowboarding and just on Pandora listening to dubstep. Like, what? Like, what is going on here? But I knew I loved it. And then Concrete Jungle. My friend took me there, and I don't know, that blew my mind.
Yeah.
And that's when I was producing, and I was like, I met Will and Paul and all those dudes, and I would just go and watch them, and it was just dark room, smoke out. It was amazing.
Was that back in the record room at First Ave?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was a good segue coming from going to hip hop shows at First Ave and being like, all right, I'm comfortable with this place. This music in the scene was brand new, but I just fell in love with it right away. It's like I can just go chill out and there's no pressure, just really chill.
That's awesome.
So those guys were my first like big inspirations to be like, all right, I'm gonna give DJing a go, because I had one turntable and a mixer for sampling.
Yeah.
And I would spin records on there and try to scratch, but it was a belt drive, so I'd just like wear that thing down until you like push start and it'd just be like, that's broken. I need a new one. So once I got 2 turntables and a mixer, I went straight into Serato.
Cool.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
What was your first mixer?
Newmark, like D something. It was like brown and it had orange lights and it was super ugly, and the crossfader was so loud.
Yeah.
And not accurate whatsoever. It was just like
Slapping.
yeah, but not like the tight snap that the DJM has. It's like hollow.
Yeah. Sounds like plastic.
Yeah, I was like, this is bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the time, I didn't really know. It's like, I don't really know where to go from here. But that's where going to Concrete Jungle, you could just sit right next to the DJ booth, and I would just watch how they were EQing and stuff. I was like, oh, all right, swapping the lows and flexing it out, letting it ride out, and it slowly started to make sense. But
that's
my friends were just scratch DJs, so they would come over and just do the crab scratch for like 6 hours. I'm like, are we gonna play like full beats? Like, they're like, we're gonna do sets. I was like, are you just gonna scratch for like an hour straight? They're like, yep. I'm like, dude, carpal tunnel, but good for you. Like, you're gonna get it. All right, cool.
Those needles will be gone at the end of the night.
Good heat source there, but
good heat source.
But yeah, then it all just progressed into CDJs, mixing vinyl, and going down that route.
Yeah. Would you say that when you were getting into that, that's what's called dubstep? When did you start thinking about what you wanted your sound to sound like? Because I feel like when I had first heard you, you had a very distinct sound. There, like at the time, can we say the old name of
the Boy Floyd?
The Boy Floyd, the Nicky Boy Floyd. When I had first heard like the Nicky Boy Floyd project, it was very original to me. Like I didn't feel like it was necessarily imitating or copying anybody. I felt like there was definitely influence, but I like couldn't always directly put my finger on it. It just was such a sweet blend of just dubstep sound. When was that influence taking over, and who were some of those influences?
Obviously Biome, because that was the turning point for me, where I've been listening to so much just like tear out and heavy dubstep and all of that, and Propaganda. Shout out Beasky, he put Propaganda on the little promo today. What's up, Beasky? But yeah, I had never heard anything like that. I think it was the last track on there too.
Yeah.
And I would just scroll through those, and then I was like on a walk or something. I was like, oh, what is this? Like, it's so deep. But I had no idea how to go about making that. So I didn't know like what I was going for. And I think that's what made it unique, is because I was trying to replicate the sounds that I liked, but I wasn't able to hit them on the head. And then what I was left with was kind of like this, not a knockoff, but like, you know, just like a slight variation. And then I would just go with it and fit those quirky little sounds in there. And I think that's what made up kind of the Nicky Boy Floyd sound.
Yeah.
And I switched away from it just because I felt like those were my primary research years.
Okay.
It was like the learning curve, and it just felt like not cohesive enough to me, where once my music started sounding more cohesive and I would go into the studio and be like, all right, I can get to where I want to be by the end of the day.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I'm just gonna pivot away from that and have Therma be like a more put together style.
So was there something before the Nicky Boy Floyd project? Was there another alias, or was it?
Was there? No.
So Nicky Boy Floyd was from what year to what year, roughly?
2010 to 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
It's like 10 years.
Yeah, and then 2020 to now, you've had this Therma project, and it's honestly, it's kind of taken storm. It's like the second that you started the Therma project and started putting out tunes and coming up with, like you said, these cohesive EPs and tracks. I mean, people like Mystic State had caught on pretty quickly, and there was a lot of other people that were just like, what is this sound? Who is this guy? Where did he come from? I feel like. And I mean, the real hard part, I think, for so many people is that when there is somebody that you might not have known for a long time and then they pop up out of nowhere, I feel like there are so many people that are quick to jump on, like, what happened? How did they get this big up out of nowhere, and don't realize all of those years of work previous.
Right.
So when that Therma project finally like really was like catching the grit and starting to get momentum, what was the thought process you had when you started seeing some serious progress in the Therma project? What were like some of the next steps you were wanting to take?
I really wanted to fine tune my sound, but have it be spread across multiple styles. That was the goal, because I've always wanted to be like, okay, I can make relaxed, lo-fi, chill out, I can make heavy, drum and bass. I just wanted to do the whole spectrum, but I wanted to make sure that it would sound cohesive even in different styles, if that makes sense. So it's not just like I'm going one way all the way to the other side and not making sense in between.
Yeah.
But I knew it was going to take more and more and more hours.
Yeah.
Where it's like, man, I started in 08 and I still really didn't feel like I hit a stride with production for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Where all of it started kind of like really clicking.
Yeah.
Drum programming and sound design and everything. It started to interlock when I started the Therma project. So that was a big goal, where it was like, I want to just get all of this dialed in, sharpen up the DJ skills, and then just have this brand new kind of, not a brand new project, because it's still all just making music, you know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time, it felt like, I don't know, a fresh page for me, and to just be like, all right, well, I can hone this in and not feel like I'm behind.
Yeah.
With Nicky Boy Floyd, I felt like I was maybe a little like behind on myself a little bit, where it's like I just don't have the output and I feel like I'm playing catch up when I'm making these new tunes, and then I go and listen to older, I'm like, sharpen up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a sucker for some of those old Nicky Boy Floyd tunes. There is something about that grit that really kind of gave it like almost like the historical dubstep feel,
right.
Where I was like the old tempo horsepower. There was somebody in the chat earlier that was like, is this a horsepower tune?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was just like, I don't think it is, but it definitely has that like
right. the old Tempa one. That might have been Metric, Alex Perez. It is on Tempa.
It is on Tempa.
Yeah.
But it's an Alex Perez tune, the Metric one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Tempa All Stars 6 or 9. Great tune. There's an awesome Icicle tune on that.
Icicle and Alex Perez on that release.
Yep.
Brutal.
Good stuff.
That is good stuff.
Insane. Yeah, the old Nicky Boy Floyd project. And I think it had the OG dubstep style because I was listening to so much dubstep.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, I like this, I don't like this. And then trying to mimic those sounds. And then a lot of the time not checking the years and anything, being like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Once I start making the sound I want, that style has now gone out of style.
Yeah.
So it's like in like 2016, you're playing tunes from 2013 that you like, and people are like, sick throwback set. And you're like, what?
Yeah. Like, it's all new to
Throwback?
me.
I was like, I don't know. It's only like 2 years old.
Yeah.
No, it's a throwback. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, music was coming out so quickly at that time, too.
Yeah.
There was such a huge, like, need or want for like especially with dubplate culture, like to constantly be putting out the new tunes.
It was constant.
Yeah, the turnover was bad. I mean, I've
as we can see,
it was tough on all of us.
It really was.
I've seen your collection get big, small, and big again many times, and I'm always just like, wow, I think we have a problem. Yeah.
I'm back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see it.
Yep.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yep.
So even in this music that we're hearing right now, like you were saying earlier, I can definitely hear that collaborative influence of all of the music that you've loved, coming from hip hop to even like drum and bass, dubstep, all the snares, the background dub, echoes, and all that stuff throughout this whole album that you've just been playing, which I'm really excited about. It. This is my first time fully getting to hear it, so that's been pretty exciting.
It came kind of last minute where I have this issue where I don't bounce out the tunes, where I just let them sit too long.
Yeah.
I just nurture them for too long, or like I did today, overprocess the shit out of them on the mix downs and then start completely over. I'm working on it. All right.
Yeah.
That's the goal, is to just blend it all together. And that's what I try to do with DJing too, where I've come back to the Serato and vinyl situation 100%. And it feels really good to just incorporate all of it into one E.
I mean, this set was also something that was super new for me to see from you, with like all of the jazz influence and the hip hop influence. And then also the crazy things that you can do with this S11 mixer is wild. I've seen a few people play on them that are very skilled like yourself on these crazy mixers. And every time I'm always like, this is way over my head, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it was fun to play on. I mean, it's just it's a wild tool that you've taken to the next level. Getting to see how you were blending some of these tunes, and even like you were saying at one point, jumping, there was a point in the mix where you were jumping from like quarter notes to like on the three to quarter notes and I was just like, you're like, quarter notes, baby. I was like, dude, this is insane. It was cool. It was really cool.
It's a really cool mixer. It actually, I mean, I had the Rain, what was that, a 70? No, not the old 4-channel.
Yeah.
It was okay. Never was my favorite. I had the 57 SL before that. I just never really wanted the DJM. I mean, I did, but I don't know. I just never pulled the trigger on it. And that one, randomly, I was like, do this. And at first I got it and I DJ'd like once, and then it sat there for like a month. And then I got booked for the Merge series by Josh. And I was like, all right, let's go. And then got busy on that thing. I was like, this changes the game. Like the beat jumping and stuff. You can just like dial it in and then push a button and then you're, flipping and cutting everything. It works so good for breaks and stuff. But
seriously, it was pretty amazing.
Working on it. I got to get the scratching out in public now.
Yeah.
When I'm solo, it goes smooth. If there's anybody around, I'm like
man.
Nah.
Everything gets way more intense when it's live.
Yeah.
For anybody that's watching that doesn't go play out or doesn't DJ at all, but even to those that do DJ but only in your own homes and not out in front of larger crowds or anybody outside of your house, it does feel insane. You can even, if you want to feel that type of feeling, all you have to do even is get a recorder, plug it in, and push the red button. Instantly, somehow, everything became 20 times harder. I don't know a single DJ that has ever disagreed with me about that. There is one person, I forgot exactly who it was. It was somebody that had told me the best way to get really good at recording yourself is just always record.
Yeah, just always have it on.
Yeah, record all the time. And then eventually
you'll forget it's there, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then you can get your mix done.
Exactly. Maybe. Yeah.
Or 20-minute chunks and splice it.
Yep. Yeah. It's a really good way to do things sometimes. But
vanity.
But this is another chunk of this awesome thing I love about this project that we get to do together here right now. We get to see live. We get to see everything. We get to record it. We get to put it up on YouTube, watch it again. Feel like people learn from that. We learn from that ourselves, and we get to enjoy it for a really long time.
Yeah.
That mix, I'm truthfully saying this, when we're done here, I'm going to bounce out the recording, instantly upload it to YouTube, and start watching it again.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
Awesome. I'm glad. Because it's so weird. This is the first time I've ever been nervous at your house.
Yeah, that's
where it felt different. We're like pacing around down here trying to eat sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Felt it was odd. And then, you step up to your mixer and you're like, have I touched this before? Sometimes, sometimes you get really nervous. Today was chill.
My hope is that starts to wear off. I do believe that probably came from a little bit of my nervous energy. This being like, you're like the first guest on the reboot of this show, and I was like, I wanted everything to work super smoothly and perfectly. I wanted to hit record when I was supposed to. I wanted the transitions to work for when you came on. I was like, oh man, I just want to make sure that this is perfect for my boy, and want everybody to get to see something really amazing, because I look up to you so much. For a billion different reasons, but like in the music world, you've been a huge inspiration to me and to many in Minneapolis especially. But the effect that you've had on our city is way larger than I think any of us would just think of right away. You just start thinking about the history that you've put on to our music scene, especially when it gets to the like the subgenre micro-focused level for the dubstep, drum and bass community, record community.
For sure.
With Wax Lab was super sick. Subsequential was super sick. All of those things were really important during a time where they were really necessary.
Yeah, for sure.
So all of those things were really great. Even the one run that we did at
Deep Frequency Lounge.
Lounge. That was one of the coolest things.
That was so awesome.
It was so much fun. But you've been a huge point of reference, I think, for a lot of people in our state and in our city and in our scene. Even when people aren't thinking like instantaneously Nicky Boy Floyd Therma, it's recessed into their brain as like it comes back to you a lot. At least that's the way I think. For my history with you in music, I'm like, it goes back to Nick a lot. Like, so you've had a huge influence, I think, on our scene whether you like it or not. So
Who doesn't like it?
yeah,
Hit me in the chat.
yeah.
We'll chat it out. We'll see what the problem is.
But yeah, no, man, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. This is amazing.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the next time we have you on, it is stupid smooth. I hope there's no fear. Just walk up to it, no nervousness, pure sandwich deliciousness.
Oh no, this was
and
all
relaxed.
pure smooth. It's my own. I always get the bubble guts, I call them.
The bubble guts.
Where you stomach gets all weird, and then like I told you and Rachel, I was like, I forgot how to mix.
Yeah.
You know, 5 minutes before the set, and then you get up there, it's all good.
Yeah.
But every time. Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. This is so awesome.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Whole reboot.
Man. Serious reboot.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. So we do have a question. I feel like we have kind of covered this question a little bit, but they worded it so well that I have to reread it and ask it. Let's see here. We have this question it's from our boy Josh, and so the first, it's a two-parter. The first question was, when did we meet? And yeah, we kind of covered that right away in the beginning.
Yep.
That was super sick.
Chevy Chase, that was the tune.
Chevy Chase.
Chase. I sat there and looped like the rant from Chevy Chase and Christmas Vacation over the beat. My sister's super into Christmas Vacation, so I just like let it loop out and took a video of it and sent it to her, and then just clipped. I don't even know if it was from the movie. Clipping a tiny Chevy Chase quote, and that was the thing. That was the dubstep thing, dude. It's like the build up, random ass quote, drop. I mean, it's still going down, but it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, it was like every other tune.
Yeah. Shut the refrigerator door down.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
There's some really scary ones too.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Those super dark ones.
Yeah.
Like some of my favorite really dark quotes were like the Enigma Dubs ones. Breed of the dark.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, like those were sick.
What was the other one? Dark Place.
Mm.
I want to go someplace dark. Anybody know that one?
Yeah, dude.
That's good.
More
tempo.
More tempo.
Yeah.
So good. Well, the second part of this question is just for the Nick. I know hip hop is your roots. How does that influence what you do now? And what other influences outside of electronic music have shaped your craft? Kind of touched that a little bit, but if there's
I think one of the big takeaways from hip hop for me is just sampling, the art of sampling, and going beyond just chopping a loop. So starting with samplers and then moving away from them and now coming back to them has been like the ultimate synergy. Because for me, just getting in the studio, loading in drums, chopping things up, that's like therapy for me. Even if a tune doesn't get written, just going in there and making sound is what feeds the whole thing, and watching other people work. And I think one of the other big factors is just a little bit of swing on everything. Swing it out a little bit, groove it out, like a little bit more repetitive. Using so many different styles to make something different from that style, like hip hop has done so well over the years, and not so well over, in the chipmunk phase, early 2000s, rev that thing up.
Yeah.
Now I went opposite. Now I'm like screwed and chopped.
Yeah.
All the time.
No always.
Chipmunks. Yeah. But staying inspired outside of electronic music, I've realized over the past few months is seeing people not stop. They don't give up DJing because it doesn't work out. They don't give up producing, or they take a break, but they come back. Maybe you lose touch with somebody, but you run into them and they're still just doing the thing, regardless of what the outcome is going to be. That is what inspires me. People are doing it just because it's fun. Easy to lose sight of when things start really rolling and you're like, okay, I need to, make the right moves or talk to the right people. I feel like that can fog out the true vision of why you started doing it. When I see people like you, and I just talked to Mike Rad at Slam, and I went and did the workshop over there, and he was showing me tunes, the Scavi tunes at the end.
Yeah. Scavi project's crazy.
Like, and I had just been, my new workflow is mostly just sampling myself. Like I just play instruments, record them in, chop them up, go that way, or if it's recording and resampling synths and things like that. But I went there and Mike showed me a couple tunes and I was just like, dude, I'm going home and it's like going to be sound design for like a month. And he's like, it's going to be MPC stuff for me. And like, that's the kind of stuff that just completely refills my soul.
Totally.
It's just seeing people that you've known for a long time still out there doing it and being good humans, having fun doing it. Gonna keep going.
Yeah, number 1 rule.
Yep, have fun, baby.
Have fun.
Yep.
What was number 2 rule?
What was the number 2 rule?
It was like
no train wrecks.
That's not a rule, okay? That happens, all right?
It does. It's not a rule. It's just part of life.
It's a part of life. I think at one point you're like, number 2 rule is like always remember your headphones or something like that. It was
like your adapter or something like that. Yeah.
I just remember you saying something like that at Black Box one time, and I was dying. I was like, that was funny.
Yep.
But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, so do you got any updates that you can tell everybody about what's coming up for the Therma project?
There's a couple things in the works. I'm trying to wrap up the next release. The hip-hop project will be coming, I don't know, in the next few months. I'm at a point where I'm like having some breakthroughs, so I'm ready to abandon everything I have done because I feel like I could do it better.
Sure.
So I'm having this debate with myself, but I have that collab with Flora Noise, and we're gonna figure out something with that. We just got to get them done, but there'll be a dubstep project and a hip hop project coming up in next, I don't know, 4 or 5 months.
Awesome.
You heard it here. I'm putting a timeline on myself. It's like
4 or 5 months. If it doesn't happen,
give me a call.
We're going to his house and we're going to knock on the door and we're going to ask for it. That sounds awesome, man.
I have a really bad habit of like getting a group of tracks together and then being like, oh, those fit. That'd be fun. And then like hopping on my computer and just randomly designing album art for it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, this has to happen.
Yeah.
People are waiting.
Yeah.
No.
No.
They don't know. It's just you, man. Making album art and putting pressure on yourself.
Yep. But now they do know.
Now they know.
Now they know.
Well, you heard it. They are bounced and ready.
They're bounced. They're ready. We have 24 people still in here that know.
They know.
That's a lot.
Shout out to the 24 people.
Thank
you all for tuning in.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Appreciate it, man. That was fun.
Seriously, a lot of fun. Well, is there one more track you'd like to play us out?
I think I could find one. Yeah.
All right. And then till next time, this was BASSment Jams, and we had our guest artist here, amazing homeboy, Therma. Make sure to check him out on Instagram at therma.wave. Check out his SoundCloud. Check out the Bandcamp. Go buy tunes. Listen to music. Next up, we have Antithesis, Jack Denny, Turnian, 1/3 of Turnian Sound. He will be joining us January 20th. It's a Monday, 7 p.m. Central Time. I really enjoyed this. I can't wait for the next ones. It's gonna be fun. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.
Thank you all. Thank you. Dude.
Woo!